I remember speaking to this young gentleman who was 13 years old, and we asked him, how is your life different than compared to other teenagers your age in this community being part of Compassion? And he said, my friends that are not part of this community with Compassion and with the church are either dead or in jail. And because he has a sponsor family, he's able to get food, get resources, get an education, and have a future. In 2023, I was blessed to go on the Compassion trip to El Salvador. Going on this trip, not knowing what to expect, and it was my first time going outside of the U.S., but knowing Compassion and the organization with working with them, I trusted them immediately. My first thought of landing in El Salvador was, wow, this is one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen. I personally did not realize that El Salvador is is a small country. The people are so kind. We just met them for the first time, and no matter who we met, whether we were going to a Compassion event or just outside with, people that live there, they were kind, cordial. The hospitality was just amazing. The places that we visited with Compassion, the Compassion projects, were places of poverty. They're away from the city, from people. They're up a volcano in the middle of the forest by themselves, surviving. In El Salvador, it was very isolating to be with those children who are just surviving in a forest. They don't have electricity. Some of them don't have running water. And without the church where Compassion is and supports that area, they would just be on their own, and they wouldn't have anybody else to help or support them. There's a huge difference between where you see compassion in the community and where you don't see compassion in the community. We visited this woman in her home with her husband and her 2 children. They were in the middle of absolutely nowhere, in the middle of a forest. They had a couple chickens, they had a dog, they had a little stream nearby where they would get water, they would get food from the Compassion Center, and they were just fine. They are getting by. But I kept having a dream that I was in her house by myself and there was no one else around me, and I was stuck there. I equated that as a nightmare, as something scary and bad, but that was her reality. That is where she is living. That's her home. To have some support and to help her family to get along, if that's something that I could do to help with, then I would want to take every opportunity that I could to just make her life a little bit more comfortable.